Hello, and welcome to the Liberty Downbeat. This is your host Lawrence Lee, and we're getting somewhere into the week here, getting going, and it's still kind of early in the week, so it's kind of gets it's a little bit crazy. Always crazy at the beginning of the week. Hard to get the motivation going and kick it in and drive and all that stuff. But anyhow, today I want to talk a little bit about over the past week. Pompeo, Secretary of State Pompeo, I can't pronounce his name, Pompeo I think it is. I always think Pompeo when I think Pompeo. Has been meeting with Kim Jong-un or over in North Korea, and they've been setting up this historic summit coming up on June 12th between him and Donald Trump. They've been doing some prep, and then over the weekend there was some early talks of if all things going good and if he dismantles all his nukes and basically all the other stuff that the United States would provide some extra cash flow for him. Well, that thankfully has rescinded some as of Sunday, I believe. They started talking about, maybe not just giving him money for the heck of it, because hey, he's doing good deeds. Let's get some money and let's take taxpayer money and help these North Koreans out there in such a backwards way, kind of like what we did with Japan back in the 40s after the war. And as the talk kind of changed over to now, like entrepreneurs coming in and basically rebuilding the country. If you take a look at a map of North Korea versus South Korea, you'll see there's a big dark spot with one little dot, and that's Pyongyang in there. That's the only place that's lit up, and the electricity grid is probably like ancient compared to everything that we're used to. And well, our grid isn't great, but we're at least working to improve. They're still dealing with theirs, but nonetheless, North Korea is like just completely way behind the times. Because they've been under a rule of a dictator after dictator for forever. So everybody thinks this is going to be a beacon of hope for North Korea because they're breaking the historic handshake across the demilitarized zone, and all of a sudden Kim Jong-un is starting to look like a benevolent leader rather than that ruthless dictator that he was. You got to remember, just a couple of years ago, or actually just a year or two ago, he sent home a prisoner of war. And the guy died like a week later because he was treated so rottenly by the government. So benevolent leader he is not. But I just don't get it. I've been seeing all this news, and because we're going to blow up our nuclear arsenal place, and we're gonna just make sure that we are the best people now. The problem is that it makes Kim look all good and nice and good, but he's still. I haven't heard a thing from the North Korean people, or all of a sudden the radio stations and news stations all just open up, and it's kind of like the Western style stations, and can criticize everything and have free speech and free democracy and stuff like that. All this is new, but the truth is, I don't see any of this even loosening up, and much less him showing any interest in his showing up his people. I don't think this is quite on the level as it all seems. Plus, you bring all these contractors in, you start building up the country, making it all up to modern standards, and get their electrical grid probably better than our own. Basically, you want to rebuild their country, kind of like I said, when we rebuilt Japan, they ended up almost surpassing us as technologically. If it weren't for China, I guess we wouldn't Japan would have pretty much taken over as they were the leader in the 80s. So as far as innovation and stuff, but China has come back and since then. But if you think about North Korea, and you think about them getting, well, South Korea is pretty good at pretty technologically advanced as well. Uniting those Koreas may be good, it might be a good thing, but with Kim in charge, what do you really think is going to happen? You really think that he's going to give up that kind of control? And we're already given kind of some assurances. I guess that means that they won't just throw them to the wolves so they can just throw them over a cliff somewhere. But if he's in control of all that, do you not think that maybe he's not on the square? He's just playing us, kind of like sort of like chess. Like we're playing chess. He's got a 100-year plan. His country has he's got a plan where he's wanting to be and how he wants to set up his future, his legacy, so to speak. But if you think about it, I mean, the guy is playing us. I think he's playing us because, I mean, you just think about all the stuff that he's wanting to do. He's playing the good leader, the dictator that saw the light. I've seen the light, and we're gonna be a lot better now. And I'm gonna be philanthropy and all this stuff. And please come build our country back up. We'll do wonderful free trade with the United States and the rest of the world, and we'll be a good player. Yeah. The more I think about that, and it's just the more I've been thinking about it, it's like, just everybody, we always, Trump says he wants assurances and stuff like that. I'm sure he'll get it. Kim's in a corner. There's no doubt about it. He's got to play his cards right, or we're gonna notice that he's fooling around trying to, especially if he's trying to build up his weapon stocks underneath our nose. It ain't going to happen. But is another thing if he's that weak, will we go in there and take over the country and basically make it another province of the United, or make it like a extension of the United States, like a territory, kind of like well, that's what we're kind of doing around the world anyways, kind of going around and kind of big stick kind of thing, coming around saying we're going to basically, well, I don't know why we haven't done it yet if we are going to be doing all this anyways, helping out. We're coming and saying we're helping out other countries when we're actually just coming in and taking over other countries. And like I say, he's trying to do it under our nose. He's gonna get smacked. But I get the feeling we're gonna build up all this infrastructure, and he's gonna play the benevolent leader. And maybe in 20 years he'll have. He's already killed a good bit of his family. I don't know if he'll even have kids or. But he's basically thinking about the future of his country and how he's going to control it. He's not going to sit here and just play the game fairly. I just don't feel that from him. I feel like he's going to kick all the contractors out, take it over, kind of make it his own. And now he's got this super infrastructure, and he can build up, and he can ask, find, and no telling with all maybe the advances in internet and stuff or whatever, be able to get all the plans he needs to, spy and get anything, get more advanced weaponry, end up being a real problem. So I think he's just playing his cards, and I think playing the cards, playing chess, playing poker is what he's really doing. So, anyhow, just don't read into it as something that he would. Don't read into it the same way as like oh, this is going to be good for everybody, because I really don't think it is going to be good for anybody. Well, anyhow, I'm going to move on. Got a couple other things in the stack here. I want to talk a little bit about the Houston elementary school thing that happened last weekend, I think like last Friday or something like that. where I don't know if it was last Thursday or last Friday, but if you're like me, I have two kids, and two boys. I take to the elementary school. We run through the line. We run through the line every day, and it's sometimes we're not exactly running on time. Actually, it's quite a big line. We're not running on time. We're usually running really close to getting there right at the bell. And it can get hectic, and especially when you got like 50 people coming in. And in my particular case, we got a trash truck that decides on Wednesday that it wants to stop in the middle of the road when I'm running late, of course. And it makes it a heck of a lot worse to get the kids to school. But anyhow, this thing in Houston, in Fort Bend, around Fort Bend, I guess. Fort Bend, I guess it's Fort Bend intermediate, not intermediate, but it's an elementary school in Houston. Well, this lady, she's actually got a high school kid that she's trying to get to the high school. I guess it's right around the corner from it. And she figured she could cut through the elementary school parking lot to get over to the high school on time so that they can beat the bell, basically, get her kid to beat the bell. Well, she starts cutting through the parking lot, and one person stops her. One person stops her and says, "Hey, you know something? You can't come this way. You got to go the other way. You got to turn around." And she's like pleading with, "Please, I got to get my kid to school and this and that." And then she basically goes around the guy. Doesn't care that he said no, you can't go this way. But then the second guy a little bit further up, and he's waving his hands, going like this too. And you got to stop, And she's trying to go around him, and he gets mad with her and jumps up on her roof of her car. And she's all freaking out, and they're all freaking out, and it just turned into a big fiasco. And he lays up there, and he's like pointing this sign and saying, "Look, I'm the teacher. You can't go through here." And he's like basically saying authority. I got the authority to tell you to stop. And he's showing out, but at the same time, he's right. You can't cut through a parking lot to cut through the parking lot of the elementary school and risk lives and this and that. I mean, I can see the situation, but at the same time, there are rules that are set up by the school, I think, but at the same time, I feel for the lady too. But the truth is, she's kind of, I mean, you're trying to find the best way to get your kid to school on time, and it's just not a good thing at all. I mean, I've been one. No, I mean myself personally, I wouldn't have done that. If somebody had told me, "Look, you can't do this," I would say, "Okay, you can't do this." Or I saw the cones, the cones were up. It's like, okay, I'm done. I have to go this other way. But this lady, she knew what she was doing. I mean, it sounds like. I mean, if it happened one time, it's probably happened several times, and that's probably why they put the cones up. I'm sure that's not for just one school or another, but it's just. It's one of the gray areas. You really want to get your kid to school on time, but the truth is, man, take the tardy, because you rather take the tardy rather than have the ticket, But it seemed like she didn't seem to care, and almost ran the guy over. So that's almost assault and battery or vehicular or whatever, So it's a mess. But anyhow, I wouldn't do it. If I were you, I wouldn't do it. So, but. One more thing, thinking about, last week there was also a lady who got a ticket, a little bit more serious too, a little lady who got a ticket in Virginia. She got pulled over by a cop. You know how you get when you get pulled over by a cop, just like, driving, and then you just, it tenses you up. You see the blue lights behind you. It really. I don't know how a lot of people are, but it just oh crap. I got it's like. But at the same time, it gives you a little bit of tension. You don't know how you try to do the best you can. I'm a civilian. I know that this is also probably very tense sometimes for cops as well. So I mean, I can imagine how you have to deal with people all day. I'm trying to see it from both perspectives, So I'm just taking a little bit of time. Well, she got pulled over, and the cop comes up to the car, basically tells her she's going 70 and a 55, And she's like, he's like, okay, gives the license, all that stuff. He goes back, writes up a ticket, listens to country music in the car. I thought that was kind of funny myself. I'm not a country music fan, and it just seems like so Dukes of Hazzard, Roscoe P. Coltrane for somebody to just listen to the country. But that's his jam. So I'm not ragging on that. It's just that it's not my jam. So, but anyhow, he goes back up there, and then this is where it turns sour, or kind of feels sour. But like I said, I'm trying to weigh this on both sides, because I can see kind of both sides of the coin on this one. So the officer is basically telling her, here's your ticket. No, she asks if it's a warning. He says no warnings today. So he gives the ticket back to her, and she says she's got to sign something. Well, I don't know how it is. I'm not sure. I'm knock on wood. I have not had a ticket, and I won't get one, of course, like tomorrow or something, because I said this, but I haven't gotten a ticket in several years, and I don't know how the South Carolina statutes are, but I do believe you don't sign for your ticket. I do believe, I know you, obviously after this week, I know you signed in Virginia. I think I remember that, because I did get a ticket up there many years ago. But I don't think you have to sign for a ticket here in South Carolina. And the guy, was trying to, I guess he was trying his best to be nice about it, but at the same time, he's being a little bit, he's being forceful. He has to force, she's not wanting to sign a ticket, because if she's gotten a ticket here in South Carolina anytime in the last 5 years, she'll probably remember that, we don't have to sign here. I don't know. Like I said, I'm trying to play both sides of this equation. But the way he says something to her, it makes her feel like she's, I don't know, like she's been threatened. So the guy, the police officer says, if you don't sign this, I'm going to pull you out of that car. Choice of words, it could have gone a little easier. Maybe he said, I'll have to ask you to get out of the car or something like that, but, all being said, it's a tense situation, and he's thinking I don't know if he's maybe overreacting, but, like I said, the guy's got to deal with probably not meaner people during the day, or maybe he just lives in a place where, it looks like it was out in the country, but nonetheless, it seems like, you never know what kind of type people you have come along or anything like that, just like, might be just super defiant. But it seemed like she wasn't that defiant, but she was questioning it, and when you question authority, they get tense. So is the way I forget anyway. So about my rule of thumb is just, do what they ask, and maybe they won't beat you to the ground or something. That's the way. If you be nice, be as compliant as you can be, even though in my experience, I'm very bad at being compliant. I always ask, always this and that, but I think what really did it was the signing the ticket, because when you sign for something, it's like, what am I doing? I'm signing my. She obviously got it. I could tell she probably got it in her head that I'm guilty. Even though he said, this is not a admission of guilt. I don't think she heard that, because you know how you get that tunnel vision. It's like you just fight or flight. She probably just wanted to get the hell out of there. But obviously she went on a rant, and a lot of people got mad about it. This and that, against the cop and this and that, and then some people against her for the way she overreacted, and I don't really want to get into all that, because the truth is, it's a very hairy situation for both cops and for people who get pulled over. So, like I said, I'm just trying to see it on both sides, but that's all I have for input on that. So, if you want to comment me and and continue the argument, then go on libertydownbeat.com and go to my blog page, leave comments. Go to Facebook. We got Facebook. Got YouTube. Got the Twitter. Well, I don't know about. Let's see. And then I started up something new for people who want to get a little ahead of the game, and I'm gonna put this one on Minds as well. Minds.com. It's a pretty cool site. I mean, they pay you in crypto or something like that. So I still don't know the crypto all that well. I don't even know if I could even turn that into anything. If you have crypto knowledge, I certainly could use that. So anyhow, just hit me up if you want to. Like I say, we're on Facebook, we're on YouTube, we're on Twitter, we're on pretty much everything except Instagram, and I don't know how to set that up yet, and maybe it'll come along later. But anyhow, that's the show for today, and hope you liked it, and leave me comments, and hope to talk to you soon.